After last week's video, I went to go cut my hair, but when I came back to my room, I saw this thing. I wasn't sure what it was, but it was a box assigned to me. Well, I believe that this was my adventure? Or maybe a lens. I wasn't really sure, but it's alright. See, the thing about my life is it's quite boring, and something like this never really happens. Like, if it were to happen, only in the movies, I guess. I wanted to discover if this was what I thought it was, and maybe something more. This was the most random thing I had picked up from a box. A book and some sort of scroll which smelled like coffee. Pretty good. But what really intrigued me was how rustic this thing was. Maybe it could tell me about my future? Apparently it was some acceptance letter which something called an Orchid Ranger. It said, "Dear NickyAdopt, you have been accepted into the Orchid Ranger Training Course ORTC as you have displayed the intestinal fortitude to make it this far in life. The Orchid Ranger tribe only exists to those who seek challenges and are determined to strive for excellence. The journey ahead will test your limits of courage, strength, and character. It will be hard, but an experience worth fighting for. If you do accept this invitation, open the journal and write your name on the first page inside. This will begin your adventure. If you do not accept this invitation, do nothing and your life will remain as it is. The goal of the Orchid Rangers is to support and serve. We are prepared to move when someone is too. The choice is yours. Whenever you're ready, we'll be ready when you are. Orchid Rangers." The letter seemed like a scam, but I just took the chance. I was thinking that this could be my life-changing experience since it came to me. So I wrote down my name and nothing really happened. I walked away, but I came back to see another note. This time with an objective. The note said, "Find a place to reflect and write 100 things about yourself." But one thing I couldn't get out of my mind was how I felt like I was in a movie. I couldn't even look at the camera directly anymore, even though this was a YouTube channel and, well, it felt like the third person. No matters. When I looked back at the note, I heard a rumble upstairs, coming from the attic. A place where I rarely go upstairs. Yeah. But I wanted to check out what sort of magic this is. It's pretty weird to me that a book came into my life, notes randomly spawned, and now a table. Nicely fitted in the attic. Was this it? Was this the start of my adventure to becoming an Orchid Ranger? I still had no clue what that meant, but I just followed through because I had nothing better to do. And so I thought about it and started writing 100 things about myself. And what I learned was pretty much a lot, because I didn't necessarily have a lot of things in my life happening. And, well, this got me thinking, wow, I could have a much better life other than what I'm doing at this current moment. And so I kind of knew something was spawned later on, but I'm just gonna keep it here for now. And so I kept the book and I closed up for the rest of the day, hoping that something else will happen when I come back. Hi guys. Okay, this is a bit weird
because I felt like I was in a movie and now I am back to normal. Seems like I've done something and now I can finally look at the camera, which is pretty weird, but it's okay. You know what? I'm just gonna talk about what we did today. So today I did a bit of self-reflection. I did 100 things about myself, and like if I get stuck, I would pretty much talk about the things that I want to do in the future. And I felt that the experience was quite satisfying, especially at the end when I finally just let out my brain and I realized that it was pretty hard. Because from the start, I was already thinking that I didn't want to do all those like mediocre, surface level, small talk kind of things like, I am Nicholas, I am like round. That's all very basic things that needs to know. What I was thinking to write was more about the emotional aspect of my life and what do I feel and what do I want to achieve, what do I want to improve on, and there are a little bit of whys inside. For example, there is like, I want to inspire people because I felt that I wasn't given the right sense of engagement when I was growing up. So I've learned from those people's mistakes, and now I want to use that in the future. Hopefully that will make people change like faster. It just make life easier, you know. But I believe that when people actually sit down to reflect on themselves, it also gives them the opportunity to really tap into those emotions that they have not been touching at all in their whole entire lives. When I was writing these down, the first emotion that I was going through was inspiration. Like, what inspires me? So things like, I want to open a business, I want to do good things, I want to feel loved, I want people to feel loved, I love the ocean, I love seeking pain, I want to find new experiences. Everything was very motivational, everything was inspirational. I felt like I was on air when I was writing the first few like lines. Then it got into something much more deeper where I felt like I needed to problem solve the world because I felt I was very insignificant, and like I didn't just I didn't want to just sit down and do nothing with my life. So that's why I decided to tap into that emotion. Then it got a little bit angry where I was saying that, you know, I really hate XYZ, not people, but like what people do and how I have like sort of trusted people before, and I hurt myself in the process because I over expect things which I shouldn't. Yeah, so that's something that I only realized when I wrote it down, because I didn't really think about that before until I was like thinking through, oh, just me, what happens if I bring in my friends, what happens if I bring in the people that I've lost before, what happens I bring in the lost connections which I have left before, was it me, was it them? I was thinking through very logically, like could I have handled it much better in a way, and I felt like, you know, I could have solved and saved that friendship, but I just messed up at that point. And I got a little bit angry. Then it went into world issues where, you know what, me being sitting here and just making videos, is this even going to impact anything? Am I going to even do anything for my life? Is it even like worthy of doing enough? I was thinking about that. Yeah. Then after that, I got to a point where I just couldn't think about anything else, and I felt quite tired, you know. I wrote down here, I can't sit down for long hours, and that's when I just stopped for a while and I did some breathing exercises, just deep breaths in, fast breaths, and I just wanted to calm down from the anger, because I realized that I was grinding my teeth during that particular moment. Then after that calmness, I was thinking, yeah, actually I do tap into emotions, and when I do, sometimes I overshare, sometimes I oversay, and sometimes I don't know what to say, that sometimes I say the wrong thing, which I need to work on. Sometimes I get angry very fast, in the sense where, you know, when I misinterpret something and I feel that, you know what, at first thought, before even thinking through the what happened, I really am thinking of all the bad things that is happening, which is a bad thing, you know. Then after that, like once I calm down, I think about actually logically it can be solved, just that how am I going to negotiate my way through this particular thing, and like, is it even worth trying to put my thought into this, or can I just completely forget about it? There's just so many things after like it came through. Then after that, I got completely blank again, and I just was going through breathing exercises. The last 20 I wanted something that really felt and I believed in. I didn't want to just like, because the time was ending, I'm just gonna like jot down whatever I think was coming in my mind. Then there are some random things over here. I want to be a performer. I want to meet my idols. I always want to become an actor. I always want to learn some instrument. I'm still learning to forgive. That's something in the sense where, you know, where if we have done wrong and there was a miscommunication, I feel like I don't want to harp on that anymore. I just want to not get it over and done with, but like clarify immediately rather than letting it set in and let the overthinking set in, and then it gets people to a very high level of like, actually he did it, and then we start creating our own stories. I've grown to know that it's quite stupid, so that's why it's better to clear it immediately, you know. So that's just something I learned about myself. This whole process of me just sitting here and just writing down 100 thoughts really just helped me really leveled out my mind. Yeah, I think I kind of understood the objective, just to write down things, and I personally wrote things that I thought too much about. There's a 1-hour video of me where you can do the same thing, where I sit down, where you can see me sit down for that 1 hour to actually write down my 100 words, which you can watch and you can just like leave it playing in the background. The idea for you is to sit down and really just reflect on your own life and see how much you know about there, see where you want to grow on, see where you want to improve, and hopefully it will help you to find, have a starting direction in your life. Because, you know, we could just keep looking at all the things that is out there and live off someone else's life because they are having so much more entertaining things. It's what we do now that will make us into something even better for our own lives. So yeah, I've pretty much nothing to say anymore for this segment. It's my first time doing such a thing. Yeah, and it came to me very randomly, and I didn't even know I was in the attic. Weird. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Thank you for watching this video. My name is NickyAdopt, and I hope to see you guys on the next adventure.